It's reported that when Socrates was asked where he was from, he would always say that he's a citizen of the universe. And that might strike you as a little remark, trying to be cute. But let's think about why he said that and what he might have meant with that. Because as we know of Socrates, pretty much everything he said to people was in order to get them thinking, in order to challenge them on certain things. And when you think about that in your own life, you might notice a couple of things. For example, when someone in your family whom you think has a tendency to be selfish or negligent or rude or not caring, whatever it may be, someone whom you usually criticize, whether openly or just in your mind. When someone outside of your family, let's say, attacks them in a way where they're criticizing them or they're withholding something from them that is rightfully theirs, or maybe even not, but it's a criticism on almost the rest of the family. At least we tend to see it that way. When someone outside the family says something like discouraging or criticizing to anyone in our family, we tend to back them up, right? We tend to say, okay, within our family we criticize each other, it happens, but someone outside does not quite have the right to do that. At least often people tend to think that way. It's what you might observe around you. And similarly, observing that in the smallest unit, you might say, the family, you can keep going. You can think of a certain point in your childhood or adolescence where you thought someone saying something bad about your school might get you to defend your school, even though generally there are teachers that you don't like. Or you might think of the same analogy in sports teams where people criticize their own team amongst each other, but when someone else from another team does it, that's not okay. And go even further, go on a national level. In your country, where undoubtedly there are people of different opinions, when they criticize this or that party, this or that politician, this or that person, that's normal. And in good times, we tend to criticize quite a lot internally. But when tensions rise up with another country or countries, and they criticize the country that you happen to be living in, born in, grown up in, whatever, then that's not okay. Then all of a sudden we forget our internal debates, at least for the time being, and band together to defend the family, the friend, the country, the whatever group that we love or feel that we belong to, regardless. Now, why do we do this? Only when there's something wrong. Only when there is someone outside the family criticizing someone within it. Only when some other country is threatening peace with one's own country. Imagine thinking exactly like that. Having that love and compassion, empathy, and protectiveness, or the mindset of saying, well, those were little things. Now that we have bigger problems, let's forget about those. Let's work together. Let's be collaborators. Let's be partners. Let's stop the fighting. because we have a bigger enemy, bigger problems. At least until then, let's put these things aside. What if we learned that to do this on as big of a scale as we can, maybe not the biggest scale, but within our family, within our friendships, within our immediate environments? What if we acted like this even when we didn't have to, even when there was no so-called outside threat? What if we saw the city, the country, the continent, the world as our dominion, as our family, as our group, as our tribe, whatever it may be? All of a sudden then so many things start falling away. And we seem to be able to only to do this when we have to, when there are bigger problems and we get scared and then we come together. And I think that's really what Socrates is trying to point to. If you're a citizen of the universe, well, what's outside of the universe? Nothing. It's an all-embracing, all-encompassing way to view your environment, your world, your life. We all do this. We all have examples to this. Why not act like that? Not all the time, perhaps, but why not act like that more? And that's another thing I would like us to meditate on. Just think about it and look for opportunities where it wouldn't even make that much of a change, where it wouldn't even require so much effort, where we just out of habit have been neglecting acting this way.